There's a strange thing about human behavior. The more access people have to you, the less they feel you. But remove that access even slightly and something changes. Attention returns, curiosity grows, and suddenly your silence starts speaking for you. Now, ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you experienced that? Because here is what most people never figure out. The ones who command the most attention are rarely the ones talking the loudest. They are the ones who have mastered something far more difficult. The art of pulling back, the discipline of withholding, the quiet, devastating power of becoming unavailable. This video is not about playing games. It is not about cold manipulation or petty revenge. It is about what happens to your relationships, your environment, and your own identity when you stop being so accessible, when you stop reacting automatically, when you choose silence where you once chose explanation, and withdrawal where you once chose explosion. Because here is what no one tells you directly. People are not relating to you. They are relating to your patterns. They are relating to the version of you they have learned to predict. And the moment you stop being predictable, the game completely changes. Carl Jung once wrote that everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves. Think about that. When you become unavailable, when you go quiet, when you stop feeding the cycle, look at who panics. Look at who lashes out. Look at who suddenly needs something from you the second you stop offering it freely. That reaction right there tells you everything about how that relationship actually worked. And it reveals, uncomfortably, how much of your energy was being harvested without your awareness. You have been giving yourself away, not out of generosity, out of fear, out of a deep, largely unconscious belief that your value to others depends on how available you make yourself. Every automatic response, every yes that should have been a no, each one of those was a withdrawal from an account you cannot afford to keep emptying. And at the end of the day, what are you left with? Exhaustion. An emptiness that follows you even when everything around you seems fine. That emptiness has a name. It is what happens when you remain too available for people who do not deserve even a moment of your quiet. This video is not asking you to turn your back on the world. It is asking you to stop turning your back on yourself. Jung called this process individuation, the slow, sometimes painful work of becoming whole, authentic, fully yourself. And what you are about to discover is that this process does not begin with grand gestures or dramatic exits. It begins the moment you understand that silence can be heavier than any argument you could ever win. That withdrawal, when it comes from awareness rather than avoidance, is not weakness. It is one of the purest forms of power available to you. So, let me ask you something. How long have you been letting other people's emotional states run yours? How long have you been flinching every time someone tests you, reacting on cue like something that can be triggered at will? Maybe it is time to cut the strings, to become someone that cannot be read so easily. Because when you stop being available, you stop being manageable. And that changes everything. You were taught to be present, always, to respond quickly, to smooth things over, to say yes even when everything inside you was saying no. From childhood, you absorbed a quiet but powerful lesson. Your worth is measured by how much you give, how fast you show up, and how little you inconvenience others with your own needs. Nobody sat you down and said it that way. But the message landed all the same. Here is what that lesson actually produced: a version of you that is predictable. And here is the dark truth about being predictable. Predictable people become tools. Not because everyone around you is consciously manipulative, but because human beings naturally learn to rely on consistent patterns. You become the one who always responds, the one who can always be pressed when someone needs something. And then, when you are no longer useful in that moment, you go back on the shelf. Jung described something he called the persona, the social mask we wear to stay accepted, liked, and seen as good. That mask is exactly what keeps you running on empty. You say you are fine when you are not. You answer messages the moment they arrive, even when you are already drained. You explain yourself, justify your choices, and defend your behavior as though you owe the world a constant accounting of your inner life. But here is the cost. The more you place yourself at the center of everyone else's story, the more you disappear from your own. Constant availability is a subtle but serious form of self-abandonment. It is approval-seeking, dressed up as generosity. It is a way of trying to control how others see you, and that control comes with a price: your peace, your energy, your sense of self. And the cruelest part? The more you give, the less people value what you offer. Not because they are heartless, but because abundance removes urgency. What is always available is never truly precious. No one fights to hold on to something they know will never leave. So stop for a moment. Think about who actually deserves your attention, your time, your presence. And more tellingly, think about who has been taking those things without earning them. But before you can answer that honestly, you need to understand something more fundamental. Why do you react so much in the first place? Why is it so difficult to simply not respond? What is underneath this almost mechanical need to jump in, to fix, to soothe? The answer lives in what Jung called psychic energy. And that is where we are going next. Because your energy is the most valuable thing you possess. And if you do not learn to protect it deliberately, someone else will spend it for you. Jung did not think of the human mind as a passive machine. He saw it as an energy system. Every reaction, every thought, every emotional exchange carries a cost. The question is not whether you are spending that energy. You are always spending it. The question is whether you are choosing where it goes. Every time you defend yourself against a criticism that did not deserve a response, you spend energy. Every time you try to explain your choices to someone who has already decided how they feel about you, you spend energy. And Jung was explicit about what happens when that energy is misdirected. You bind yourself to the very things you are reacting against. That which you resist persists. People who are emotionally drained are not weak people. They are misdirected people. And here is why that matters. When you are chronically depleted, you become readable, vulnerable. And certain kinds of people, the opportunistic, the emotionally needy, the quietly exploitative, can sense that. They gravitate toward it. They have learned, consciously or not, that someone who cannot guard their own energy is someone they can lean on indefinitely. A protected psyche creates presence. You walk into a room, and something about you commands attention without effort. But a depleted psyche makes you reactive, fragile, invisible in the ways that matter. And the world, as uncomfortable as this is to say, does not extend much mercy to those who cannot hold their own center. So start paying attention to your triggers. What makes you respond before you have thought? What pulls you out of your own center almost automatically? Those are the exact points where your energy leaks. That is where the real work is. Not to make yourself cold or distant, but to make yourself sovereign, selective, harder to access than you currently are. When you begin to conserve your energy, something unexpected happens. You start disrupting the projections that others have placed onto you, and that disruption, as Jung understood, is profoundly threatening to people who have grown comfortable with the version of you that always reacts. That is the dark territory we are about to walk into. If this is making sense to you, it means you're starting to see something most people never will. Stay with me. Subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button as well. It tells the algorithm this content matters, and it helps make sure the next video finds you when you need it. Now, most of your emotional responses are not choices. They are programs. Installed early, reinforced constantly, running in the background without your awareness. And the people who understand this can move you like pieces on a board without ever raising their voice or making a single obvious demand. They do not need to threaten you. They just need to know which buttons are still exposed. And because you have been so consistently available, Because your patterns are so legible, those buttons are not hard to find. Jung described projection as the mechanism through which people place onto others what they refuse to see in themselves. But there is a less discussed dimension of this. When you are emotionally wide open, you become a surface for other people's projections. You absorb identities that were never yours. You play roles that were assigned, not chosen. Think about the person who only contacts you during their emergencies, the one who praises you enthusiastically right up until you stop being useful. The partner who needs you to rescue them, consistently, but is rarely available when the need runs in the other direction. They are not relating to you. They are relating to the function you have agreed to perform. And the reason you keep agreeing is not generosity, it is fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of the cold silence that follows the word no. The most effective manipulation never announces itself. It operates in the quiet language of guilt, in the feeling that you owe someone your attention, that you would be wrong to say no, that your limits are somehow a form of cruelty. But here is the mechanism laid bare. The manipulator does not need to control you directly. They only need you to keep reacting in the same way. Your consistency is their leverage. And the moment you stop being consistent, the entire structure begins to fall apart. When you go quiet, when you decline to explain yourself, when you withdraw instead of engaging, you remove the surface they were projecting onto. And what is left? Them. Their own noise, their own emptiness, their own reflection. And not everyone is prepared to face that. Your unavailability is not a punishment. It is a mirror. And for people who have spent their energy managing your reactions rather than examining their own, that mirror is genuinely threatening. Jung wrote that we do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. When you stop feeding a cycle, the other person's shadow begins to surface. And that emergence, that exposure, is often what triggers the attack. The accusation that you have changed, that you are being cold, that something is wrong with you now. Nothing is wrong with you. You simply stop being useful in the way they required. The modern world rewards noise, constant response, instant access. The person who replies fastest, who is always on, who never lets a message go unanswered, this is treated as a virtue, as reliability, as care. But there is a form of power that operates entirely differently. It does not compete in the noise, it simply holds still. And in that stillness, it becomes impossible to ignore. Conscious silence is not passivity. It is not cowardice dressed up as discipline. It is something far more demanding. It is mastery over your own energy. The refusal to be pulled into battles that are beneath you. The decision not to spend yourself on exchanges that return nothing of value. Jung understood silence as fertile ground. When you stop reacting, you begin observing. When you observe, you see patterns you were too busy reacting to notice before. The cycles that repeat. The dynamics that only exist because of your participation. The way certain people only need you when you are in motion. Notice what happens when you go still. Notice who reaches out with urgency the moment you become harder to access. It is not because they miss you. It is because your silence removes their control over the narrative. As long as you are responding, you are still in the story they are writing. But when you go quiet, you rewrite the terms. And that disrupts anyone whose sense of control depended on your availability. True silence is sovereign. It is the language of someone who has nothing left to prove. Someone who has stopped measuring their worth by the speed of their responses or the volume of their explanations. But silence comes at a cost. People who only valued you for your accessibility will fall away. You will become incomprehensible to those who only knew the reactive version of you. They will call it coldness, arrogance. They will say you have changed, as if change is an accusation. Let them say it. It is evidence not of your failure, but of their dependence on your old patterns. The most powerful silence is not the kind that unsettles others, though it often does. The most powerful silence is the kind that restores you. The internal quiet, where you stop performing, stop justifying, stop managing everyone else's experience of you. In that space, something begins to return. Your own sense of direction, your own voice, the parts of yourself that got buried under years of constant availability. This is not intellectual. You cannot think your way into it. It requires action. Small, consistent, uncomfortable action. Not responding immediately, pausing before reacting, leaving a conversation before it pulls you under, turning off your phone without drafting an explanation first, saying not today, saying I will not be part of this. And here is the part that many people find hardest. You do not owe anyone a justification for your absence. You do not need to explain your silence. The moment you stop explaining yourself, you remove the other person's ability to keep you locked inside a narrative where you are always the one who owes something. Jung recognized that the path toward becoming fully yourself requires a kind of sacred withdrawal. Not depression, not avoidance, but a deliberate retreat inward where you learn to hear your own voice again without the world's interference. Where your identity stops being built from the outside in and starts being built from the inside out. Here is a useful measure of your progress. Notice who starts to pull away when you become less accessible. Notice who tries to provoke a reaction. Notice who accuses you of being different now, as though protecting yourself is a betrayal. These departures are not losses, they are confirmations. You are not losing people, you are losing roles. The discomfort at the beginning of this process is real. You will feel guilt. You will be told you are selfish. Something in you will keep insisting that pulling back is wrong, that good people do not withhold themselves like this. But that discomfort is not a sign you are doing something harmful. It is the friction of deconditioning. You have spent years learning to put yourself second. It makes sense that reversing that pattern feels strange. It makes sense that the people who benefited from your old patterns resist the change. When you stop being available to everyone, something shifts. First, there is the silence. Uncomfortable, loud in its own way, full of questions about whether you are doing the right thing. But if you stay in it, the silence changes. It becomes something else. It starts to clear things, to slow things down, to give you room to feel what you actually feel instead of what you performed. And then comes a different kind of solitude. Not the solitude of someone who has been left behind, but the solitude of someone who has chosen to return to themselves. The solitude of someone who no longer betrays their own peace to keep people close who were never truly present with them anyway. In that space, the confusion begins to lift, the anxiety quiets, the compulsive need to manage other people's emotions loosens, and something older than habit starts to surface. Clarity, a sense of your own ground. Jung said that individuation, truly becoming who you are, requires walking alone for a time. It requires stepping out of the collective script, removing the mask, and sitting with yourself long enough to remember who is actually there. That is what you are doing when you choose unavailability. You are not running from the world. You are running back to yourself. You stop being shaped by whatever the moment demands and start shaping your own reality from within. The people who are unsettled by your absence reveal that they never truly wanted you. They wanted the function you served. And now that you have stepped out of that function, they do not know what to do. And that is not your problem to solve. You will lose certain people through this. That is real. But what you find in the place of those losses is something those relationships never gave you: yourself. Whole, no longer built around what others need you to be. You become rare, not because you have made yourself deliberately difficult, but because depth is rare, groundedness is rare. Someone who cannot be easily triggered, easily predicted, easily used, that person is genuinely rare. And rare things are never taken for granted. This is not the end of something. It is the beginning of something, a different way of moving through the world, one where your energy belongs to you first. where your silence is intentional, not automatic, where your presence means something because it is not given to everyone. The rebirth that Jung described does not happen in public. It does not happen in the middle of a reaction or an argument or an explanation. It happens in the quiet, in the withdrawal, in the deliberate choice to stop being everything to everyone and start being someone to yourself. That is where your power actually lives. And now you know where to find it. The moment you stop being available, you stop being controlled. And most people will never forgive you for that.